your fucking face, you Nazi fucking prick. Fuck off!
Let's talk about the EDL and setting that up. I said to you I'm going to be rough with you today, sir. Tell me about Tommy, and then we can talk more about the rape of Britain and specifically number 2.
Do you want to know about Tommy or do you want to know about Stephen Yaxley?
To say, I want you to demonstrate to me that you're not a racist, hence the reason I'm asking this question. Let me finish.
Big up StreetMic.
Big up StreetMic, long time.
Big up StreetMic. Give him the thumbs up, like, comment, share, and also click the notification bell so when he goes live, you'll be able to be there.
Keep on doing the great work. You're creating awareness.
Big up StreetMic. Big up StreetMic. Click your notification bell.
Tommy, I'm live streaming. Do you mind a quick interview?
No, I don't, mate.
You happy for that?
I'm happy, mate. I'm happy.
So, if you look into the camera, I know you're used to all of this, sir. Good morning, or good afternoon. My name is Wendell Daniel from StreetMic, and I've come down from London. To speak
from London, south of the river.
South of the river to speak to the Mr. Tommy Robinson. So, sir, do you want to introduce yourself? And I'm going to go easy on you. Then I'm going to ask some difficult questions. So, tell Wendell Daniel from StreetMic about Tommy Robinson.
Wendell Daniel. I'm from Luton Town.
You support a rubbish team.
North of London. And at 12:30 today, we're going to put the Luton match on there because it's our last game of the season. And my heart beats for that. And hopefully Luton get into the playoffs. But I'm here today because some people will have a negative reaction to who I am whenever they hear my name or see who I am. And I always say, listen to what I say, not what the media say I say. Okay? Go behind the headline and actually find out what's gone on. And in fact, what I'm doing today and the work I'm doing isn't about me. You don't have to like me. You can hate me. You can even after hearing everything I stand for and everything my views are, you can hate me. But these films are about little girls, some as young as 10, who have been brutally gang raped and tortured.
But we're going to come to that in a minute. I said to you I'm going to be rough with you today, sir.
Go on.
Tell me about Tommy, and then we can talk more about the rape of Britain and specifically number 2.
Do you want to know about Tommy or do you want to know about Stephen Yaxley then?
Tell me about Stephen.
Stephen's a lovely guy. Tommy is a lunatic.
So tell me more about Stephen, your upbringing, and then I also want to hear more about Luton and when you started a well-known organisation.
Cool. One sec.
Yeah, no problem.
We might as well go live as well.
Do you want to continuously from now?
Oh, what's the time? Is it 12?
Just gone 12, I think.
Yeah. Good to hear. Go.
So,
You ready? This way.
So if you tell me more about...
Growing up in Luton?
Yeah, that's right. And the setting up of the EDL.
So I was born in 1982 in Luton Town, and when I was born we had one mosque, and now we've got 40. And I've witnessed the growth of the Islamic community. I've grown up with many great Muslims, because I've gone to school with many great Muslims. Some of the people I love are Muslims, but I've also seen the adverse effect that has. I've seen the attack on freedom, I've seen the attack on women, I've seen the, let's not even say that it's the Muslim community, but I've seen the council just pander to everything. And do I blame Muslims for coming to this country and want Sharia law? No, it's what their ideology tells them and promotes them. But I blame our council a lot of the time, our weak politicians, for just succumbing to it. So I've seen many things like that, and in 2004 I organised a protest called Ban the Luton Taliban. And it's when in Luton Town Centre we had a group called Al Mujahideen. They're now a prescribed terrorist organisation, they weren't. I think 80% of the men serving terrorism offences in the UK were ex-members of this group. But their head office was on Biscuit Mill, which is just a road in Luton. So as I'm growing up, I'm looking at this group, because I went to school with some of them. So I know what they're about. And then I saw a video, too, when it was September 11th, the Beslan massacre. So I saw the massacre in Russia, where they went into a school and they kidnapped all the kids, and the mums and dads all rushed to the school. And as they're at the school, they're in there just chopping all their kids up, killing them. And I remember watching it, and it just shocked me like nothing else has. And I just thought, what drives a man, or not one man, this isn't one individual man, what drives a group of men to do something like this? And that's when I started researching Islam, because I had to understand what they were about. And then weeks later I saw a video of in a chicken shop in Luton, just a chicken shop, with a group in Luton sitting saying that attack would be justified if it happened in an English school. And I'll say it now, they will hit an English school. It's coming. Okay, they've already foiled plans for Jewish schools. At some point, they're going to get the kids in a school and they're going to massacre them. Yeah, and maybe 23, 26 kids in Manchester didn't wake him up, but maybe that might be a defining moment in our country. So I started researching Islam, looking into Islam. In 2004, I organised the Luton football group to hold a protest, because we literally had this terrorist group in our town centre, and they were literally in the papers laughing about sending people to fight against our forces abroad. So on that one Saturday, they've been there every Saturday outside Don Miller's. So on that one Saturday, I got probably 100 lads together and went into town and said, "You're not here this Saturday." And I called it Ban the Luton Taliban. And they weren't there this Saturday, and I thought, there you go, they're not here. Because the police weren't stopping them. But the reaction for that from me was I wasn't targeted by the radical jihadis, but every Pakistani drug gang in the town wanted my blood. And then I had clashes with them for years as young football hooligans, which were what we were. I'm self-admitting. I was attached to Luton's little football hooligan firm, and we sort of battled Muslim gangs for years. Then.
Can I ask you a question? I grew up in Enfield. I grew up by Ballsmore Lane, and you had the National Front and the BNP in the 1970s. I'm 58 years old, so I know what it was like when they were racist locally. They tried to get me. I was too fast in them days. They couldn't catch me. If they caught me, they would have killed me. But what was it like for you being in Luton? Because
Luton, that's never been in Luton. Yeah. So Luton, the men I grew up looking up to were, I won't even name them now, but were dreadlock men who were. Luton's football hooligan firm has always fought the National Front. Luton was a famous town. So when teams that were affiliated with the National Front, their big day out was Luton, because they knew they're coming to a multiracial football hooligan firm. They know they're coming to a town where it's black and white together like that. So there's never been a white supremacist idea. I've never experienced it, never seen it. The only supremacy I've seen in my town growing up, so like in my school, you went into my school, you'd have whites sat with blacks, sat with Hindus, sat with Chinese, and everyone's sitting in their dinner tables, and in the corner you've got 6 tables of Muslims. Yeah? We didn't create that. We didn't create that. We had the non-Muslim playground and the Muslim playground. That divide wasn't created by us as kids. Yeah? And I always thought it was a Pakistani issue, because I just knew they were all Pakistanis. So I thought there was something very hostile, something very aggressive, something different about this culture and community. It was only when I got my nose into the Quran and understanding Islam and looking at the beliefs that I started to understand what the problems were.
yeah, let's jump forward, because I believe many people want to talk to you, and I can chat for hours just like you. Let's talk about the EDL and setting that up. And you leaving, and then we can jump to dealing with what's going on here today in part 2 of the Rape of Britain. So tell me more about the EDL. The reason I'm asking, you are seen, and I said I'm going to ask you some difficult questions, as a right-wing racist. I've said to you, I believe you are racist, but I've recently changed my views. I'm happy to say that online. I can get cussed. Don't worry about me. I can stand up for myself. Yeah. But many people out there have said to me, many people who know me well, and I've told them I'm going to interview you, they say you are a right-wing racist because you set up the EDL. So let's talk about that.
So the English Defence League was set up, we formed a group called the United People of Luton. On our first ever demonstration, we went into the town, and there was a soldiers' homecoming parade. This same group that I'm talking about, these radical jihadists, they attacked the soldiers. They spat in their. My mate lost his legs in that conflict. Another boy, 26 from our estate, died, and they were given the freedom of the city. And as they come through the city, what we didn't know is that the weeks before, all the mosques had been getting leafleted by this jihadist group to come out and attack the troops. And they come out and they spat in my mate's mum's face. Yeah, they were called butchers of Basra, baby killers. I was against the war as much as any Muslim was against the war. Yeah, soldiers don't choose the war. Okay, they swear allegiance to Queen and country, and the elected government choose the fucking war and sell us out every time. And there was so, if you've got a problem with that war, and don't take it out on the men on the street, go to the government, and I'll stand there. I'll stand there with you. Yeah? But they spat at the soldiers. So I remember that day. I was there that day. I went down on Tuesday morning. I got into the town centre. I was with my cousin, and I looked around and I see police everywhere, and I see about 30 women in burqas all together, and I see all the jihadists. And as I say, I know him, the main convert, the big ginger steroid head. Yeah, Roger. Your name's Roger, bruv. And I went with your sister. So have some of that, mate. Right? Roger Ibrahim Anderson.
Revelation.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll just take a moment for that one, yeah?
Yeah.
Someone pass this on to Ibrahim. But anyway, so, and I see them, and the police walk them through the town hall. And as they walk them through our town hall, I thought, what's going on? And I see all the commotion. So I run up there. I thought, you just walked them through our town hall so they could attack our troops. And I remember I said to my cousin that day, I said, you see, if we don't do something about this, I said, what's next? I said, we've seen, and this was the end game, yeah? This wasn't just about that. This was about all the things that led up to that. So we then decided as a community to organise because every time you hear Luton, what do you think? Terrorists. Or maybe now you think English Defence League, yeah? But you wouldn't...
We think Tommy Robinson.
Yeah, well, fucking good, because I've given it a good name rather than terrorism. You used to just think jihadists. At least you know there's an Englishman there now. But that's all everyone thought. So we changed that, yeah? But they thought, you just hear Luton, and we're from Luton, and I love Luton. And Luton's part of my identity. The person I am is because of where I'm born, yeah? And what I've seen and how I've grown up. So when you hear our town's name, I thought, no, you're not telling the whole country that everyone in Luton's against our soldiers, because we're not. We admire them. We love them, yeah? So I organised a demonstration. I called it the United People of Luton. And on the first ever one, do you know what our protest banner said? It said, fuck the National Front, yeah? Black and white unite. We made a clear point of where we stood. And I remember that day we were boxed in and kettle for 3 hours, and my auntie had to urinate in the street. And I remember the police come up to us and they put their hands in our pockets. And I remember saying that, and I paid £450, yeah? We whipped round from the lads for a professional cameraman to video that day. You can go online and put in United People of Luton, you'll see the video. It's what built the EDL. It was from those videos. I'm so glad I've done it. So even then we was thinking about the power of media. But we brought a cameraman, he was used to doing weddings, and all of a sudden he's doing this demonstration. And as they're putting their hands in our pockets, they made me take my shoes off. I said, hold on a minute, yeah? We've come here to get to the War Memorial for our soldiers. When jihadists who send people to fight against us, you didn't look at them, you didn't stop them, you didn't search them, you didn't make their women urinate in the street. So how dare you do that to us? So after that one demonstration, they didn't let us get to War Memorial. My friend, little Isaac, black lad, the police come past on his horse and knocked his front teeth out. It's front page of the papers. He had no teeth. Yeah? The copper bashed him in the face. So after that one, it went from a community to 500 men turning up and telling the police on the next one that you're not stopping us getting up to the War Memorial. Yeah? And that's when people put on balaclavas and everyone come out in the town, and it was to make, and it become more about equal rights. It's like, hold on, what is going on? And that was the start of the English Defence League. And do you know when I realised what we're up against? I got asked by The Guardian. I didn't know about left-wing newspapers or right-wing newspapers because I didn't care about newspapers. Yeah? I was working on a building site, I was a tradesman, running a company, and didn't give a shit about politics. Yeah? And I go to a meeting in this restaurant, I met in the Beefeater, I sat down with two of my friends, I sat and done this big interview with The Guardian, and then my two friends weren't white, yeah? And then I sat down and read the Guardian article, and it was all about right-wing, far-right, and I just thought, what the hell is going on here? Yeah? I had no idea. I had no idea of the media. And it was all a wake-up and alarm bells. And so I went from that. And when people hear the story of why we went from the United People of Luton to become the English Defence League, I looked at that group. So after they attacked our soldiers, they were then doing an Islamic roadshow around our country. Yeah? And I looked at in the city of Birmingham, they get this little boy up called Sean. And they get him up on the stage and they say, repeat after me. And they have a big stage. And they're all screaming Allah Akbar. And this 11-year-old boy is made to repeat after him. They convert him to Islam. Yeah? You've seen it. Yeah. And then I watched that and I thought, nah, like, you're not doing that. You're not doing that. So then we went from Luton and we followed the group. And we got battered. And we got battered because Salma Yaqub come out and she said that the racists are coming because everyone's telling everyone we're racist. We're Nazis. And then we went to Birmingham, we got beat up by all the Muslims, we got smashed everywhere. But then the pictures of us, those lads on the floor getting their boots on their heads, they come from everywhere, hundreds of them, yeah? Bots, bricks, smashed the whole place up. The police couldn't get us out there. In the end, the police got us on buses, and all the windows come into the buses. That was the birth of the English Defence League. The next demonstration, 2,000 men turned up. And that is why it had that sort of, we're not backing down. You're not beating us off the street. But the whole racism thing, the whole far right thing, do you know every single demonstration, from start to finish of the English Defence League, go look this up, had a non-white person speak. Every single one. Look at the footage of me walking into court yesterday. Go cut the Daily Mail articles. I walked in with my best mate, yeah, who's a Sikh lad, yeah? They cut him out of the article, right? So when you see a picture, it's me and two big white blokes who I don't even know. And they're both bald, and it looks like I'm walking in with two skinheads.
Would it be correct, Tommy, and I'm going to choose my words very carefully here. Yeah. Would it be correct that the reason you are perceived as being right-wing racist, and I apologise for all of those listening, is it because some of those who associate with yourself are known racists, or is that why?
That's fair enough, yeah. We were a nationalist organisation, and purity comes with time.
Yeah.
So in the early days of the English Defence League, every single person fought. You know, with the name English Defence League, if you line 10 people up who joined it, why did you join it? They'll all have a different reason. It meant something different to everyone else, yeah? We should have been the anti-Islamic league. It should have been something that defined what it was. So in the early days, we had lots of people who had different opinions, attempting to join our rallies, yeah? And we had clashes with them, which no one talks about. When the media would run English Defence League fight each other, I'll tell you the story.
Yeah. You can tell me the story because I know time is getting on. What I want to move on now to is to what we're doing here. Then I'm going to ask you about Sasha Johnson.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So tell me more about part 2 of the Rape of Britain.
Part 2 of the Rape of Britain. Today we have a survivor who's going to talk today, and we're going to tell her story. This is about me telling the girls the survivor stories. This isn't about me, yeah?
Yeah.
It's about me telling their stories and looking at the men who are alleged to commit these crimes. So people understand. You'll see some of the undercover footage here is from 2020. That's how long we've been looking at these games, yeah? And when they're named by more than 3 people who don't know each other, that's enough for me to show who they are.
So you're sort of collaborating and corroborating the story by getting other people to verify it?
Yes, verified by more than 3 people. More than 3 accusations of rape by 3 different people, and then they're ending up on it. But what we look at today is our relationship with the police. We look at the National Crime Agency. We look at we look at one issue which I've seen people say. People say, "Why do you link this to Islam?" I hear it all the time. Yeah? We look at that today. And you'll understand why I do today, because we have a little look at the Islamic teachings, we have a look at Muhammad, we have a look at why 2% of the UK population are responsible for 80% of the criminal investigations in this crime. Yeah, we look at that, and we have to understand it.
But are you saying, Tommy, you dislike all Muslims, or are you saying you only dislike the few who have been? Let's clarify it.
I'm saying you can be against Christianity, you can mock Jesus. That doesn't mean you hate every Christian. Of course. Yeah? So I don't like Islam. I don't like the ideology. Muhammad was a very, very immoral, disgusting man. Yeah? That doesn't mean I hate every individual Muslim. Yeah? I actually want to free Muslims. Yeah. I want to free them from their slavery of Islam. Yeah? I want to give them their rights back, give them their freedoms. People say, even about immigration, people think I'm against immigration. I'd open the British Embassy tomorrow in Saudi Arabia and I'd let every woman leave. Let them all come over here and leave every Muslim man scratching his head going, "What's going on?" Well, you lot are acting like cavemen. Yeah. So that's why the women are leaving it. Right? The only reason why they can't leave, and the only reason why Islam still grows in number, is because it's punishable by death, even today. Yeah. If you leave Islam, you're killed. Yeah. That is why. So Muslims, I don't hate Muslims, and do you know what? There's so many Muslims who grew up with me in Luton who know that, who have a very good relationship with me.
Right, Tommy, my final question is about Sasha Johnson. I did a lot of work with Sasha Johnson prior to her being shot at Concert Road in Peckham on the 23rd of May 2021. As you know, Sasha Johnson is still seriously ill in hospital. What do you have to say? I want you to demonstrate to me that you're not a racist, hence the reason I'm asking this question. Let me finish. What do you have to say to Sasha and her family, and she's got young children, knowing that she is still very ill?
So I'd say this, without ever feeling a need to demonstrate that I'm not racist, I'd say it anyway, yeah? I wish Sasha gets better. I wish she gets better. She has children. I met Sasha. I'll take the camera away. She was a lovely girl, yeah? She was very passionate, she was very strong, but she was coerced and she was directed in a total wrong way. And I believe that is by educated white liberal Marxists. Because when I was with her, the next day after, she got aggressive and she got racist, yeah? She called a black lad I was with what's she called him, yeah? I better not say it, because I'm going to just cut.
They can watch it online.
Cut and edit what I've said. So she called it. But I don't believe, I think that afterwards I get a phone call and it's from a woman and she's very posh. And I said hello. She said, "Oh hi, I work with Sasha." I said, "Oh yeah. What work do you do with Sasha, Di? Because you're I said, what's your upbringing? Yeah, university, you got educated, middle class, very rich, are you? Yeah." So you are the handler for Sasha. So what the communists do and what the Marxists do and what they've used Black Lives Matter for and what the black community have been used for, yeah, is they take your genuine frustration, your grievance, your anger about slavery, about historical abuse, about racism, about all of that, and they nick it and they steal it and they wind you all up and they push you on a political movement for what? What's Black Lives Matter achieved in the United States? What has it achieved? Yeah, 30 more black people have been murdered in Black Lives Matter demonstrations. I believe all Black Lives Matter, yeah? Not just the ones that we can use for a narrative, used and pushed and driven. And that's just like Black Lives Matter as an organisation. This is when I got a lot of grief for, because I spoke out against it, yeah? And I had a lot of the most difficult time I've had in my life come from that moment. I'm not talking about Islam, because I wear that hat. I walk down the street. If I walk down the street, some Muslim wants to chop my head off, I'll stand there and say, oh, go on then, because I believe it, yeah? But if I walk down the street and I get in a row with a black man because he thinks I don't like black people, I'm not wearing that hat, yeah? Because that's not who I am. But with Black Lives Matter, on the website, their goal is to break the nuclear family. Yeah. Now, why do you want to break the nuclear family? Like in the 1960s, I believe 80% of black children in the United States had a mum and dad. Now it's 20%. That has been planned. That is racism. Yeah. Do you know who has done that? Who has broke down your family and made sure you're reliant on the state? It's the Democrat Party. And they want you in slavery. They want you reliant on them. They don't want you to succeed. Yeah? And then they take the black community in this country and they start doing the same on my doorstep, in my country, in our country. And I think, take that politics and fuck off. Because what they're doing is they're using you. Just like, so that was step one of the Black Lives Matter, is to break the nuclear family. It's been set up by two Marxist lesbians. Yeah? LGBTQ+. That is what the movement, Black Lives Matter, is to push. I don't know any black people who want to push all that trans stuff. I don't know anyone who wants to push all that. So they used a genius branding, yeah, and they whipped it up. That George Soros funded. It's controlled by a white man, yeah, just like Sasha Johnson had her strings pulled by white people. And I think she was used, and she's a victim of this whole movement that we've witnessed in this going on worldwide. And we're going to see it again next 2 years, because it's coming into the 2024 election. Every time there's an election in the United States, they whip up the black community. They get everywhere looted and burned. Do you know when they're looting and burning those shops? Do you know who loses? The Hispanic and the black community.
In closing, Tommy, definitely last one. I like to be impartial,
yeah,
and I try to be. That's what StreetMic does. So, is there anything you would like to add that you haven't had the opportunity? And I'm going to tackle you in the future, but I'm going to leave you now to say what you got to say. But we can have a debate in the future.
I've got to say, if you care about children, yeah, not about white children, children, you care about them in England, yeah, which is our country. A country and men that do not protect their children has no future. Yeah? We're not protecting our kids. Okay? They're being raped in every town and city in this country. Okay? And it's been allowed to happen. Not by all Muslims, not by every Muslim. In fact, I start off this film today thanking the members of the Muslim community who have reached out to me from Telford, who are many of them as angry as me. If you're not going to get angry about something, it has to be about the rape of a generation of kids. Come and join us, because I ain't leaving Telford. Yeah? I'm sticking in this town until I've named and shamed every Benali rapist here. Yeah? And we're going to work our way through it, and we're going to show the police that have been contempt. We're going to show the council. We're going to show the councillors. We're going to show you why it's happening, how it's happening, and where it's been happening. So get up. If you're in London watching this, come and join us.
Thank you very much, Tommy, for giving me this opportunity, and I look forward to you coming to Speaker's Corner.
Yeah, Sam.
Big up StreetMic.
Big up StreetMic, long time.
Big up StreetMic. Give him the thumbs up, like, comment, share, and also click the notification bell so when he goes live, you'll be able to be there.
Keep on doing the great work. You're creating awareness.
Big up StreetMic. Big up StreetMic.
Click your notification bell.